Yeah, no, I know having 3 jerseys there messes with the symmetry of it all. But today, what I wanted to do was dive into a trade idea that might just change everything for the Vancouver Canucks. And this is going to be kind of a 2-part commentary on the same guy, because I wanted to open this video up with a conversation on Vancouver Canucks forward Evander Kane. Because I honestly think that so many of us were wrong about this trade. And I'm not going to go out there and say specifically Canucks fans were wrong. I'm going to say some Canucks fans were wrong. Mostly me. Because honestly, I think the majority of Canucks fans did not like the Evander Kane trade when it was made. Why are the Canucks getting this guy? What value does he provide? Do we need that drama in the locker room after the JT Miller drama last year? Is this the right kind of person or leader to be with this team in this dire, fragile time? Was he the right guy for this specific team in 2025-2026? A lot of Canucks fans were really disappointed with the trade. I'd say the majority of them were. And then you have the other 40% like me that went out there and argued the contrary. The idea was, oh, he's a physical goal scorer that did some decent work in Edmonton, and the Canucks are trading for this guy for cheap. They're getting a 4th-round pick off of their hands, and that's it. And that's not that high of a cost. And then you think about just the roster implications of Evander Kane making $5.125 million, and then the Vancouver Canucks weren't able to get a center, and they could have used that $5.125 million to keep Pius Suter, and then it becomes a big conundrum of, oh yeah, no, they really messed up. But I, like many other Canucks fans, not a lot, but many other, went out there and said, like, okay, Kane can probably provide some level of goal-scoring support for the Vancouver Canucks. And I'll admit, I was wrong about that. We made a lot of videos going over the Evander Kane story over the years, and with 19 points in 39 games this season and only 6 goals, Evander, unfortunately, has not provided that goal-scoring support, nor has he really provided that physical support either. Oh yeah, this is a guy that can protect Elias Pettersson. Just kidding. He doesn't do that. And then he also messes up on plays, and he misses his passes, and he can't receive a pass, and everything looks really bad when Evander Kane goes out there on an offensive zone shift, and he's kind of lucky that he's even able to get points at this stage, considering the Canucks are not that good when it comes to scoring goals. But I also wanted to talk about how some folks seem to be wrong about this Evander Kane trade because earlier on in the season, we did make a video that went out there and spoke about how Edmonton Oilers executives apparently really regretted trading away Kane. Not because they don't like the 4th-round pick that they got in exchange, but pretty much because they missed the guy. And Evander had built up such a positive body of work with the Edmonton Oilers that seeing him leave and go to Vancouver was seen as one of these potentially negative things where they'd be like, oh, we're just helping out a rival. Another team is going to take advantage of that goal-scoring frame that Evander brought. And you can see that he was decently productive with the Oilers, 44 points in 77 games 2 seasons ago, and half a point a game in the playoffs last year as they went to the finals again. But unfortunately, I'd say that those Oilers execs kind of put too much value on that, without actually acknowledging what Evander Kane is capable of doing in 2025-2026. Canucks fans are seeing it in front of their eyes nowadays. It's not looking all too great. But there's a reason we got this Colorado jersey behind me here. It's because today what I wanted to do was turn our attention over to an article published on milehighsticking.com. Take a look at this piece. The Colorado Avalanche should kick the tires on this Canucks veteran forward. Big shout out over to Nestor Quickston, who went out there and posted this earlier yesterday. The Avalanche should kick tires to see what the price tag could be on this Vancouver Canucks veteran. You can see that there are 2 veterans right there, Marcus Pettersson and Evander Kane. Surprise, surprise, the entire video has been about Kane so far. This is what the article goes out there and says. The Avs are humming along this season. That's hardly news anymore. The league has gotten so accustomed to seeing the Avs dominate that it's not surprising. Just look at the lineup. It can become a modern-day murderer's row. Coach Jared Bednar can throw 4 effective lines over the board night after night. But then again, every contending club could use a little extra help now and then. That could be the case of the Avs. As the animal spirits seem poised to return to the NHL trade market, the Avs would do well to look into available players leading up to the deadline. One such player the Avalanche should at least kick tires on is Vancouver Canucks veteran forward Evander Kane. The 34-year-old is in the final year of his deal, coming with a $5 million cap hit, but could provide a jolt of offense for the Avalanche. The cost of acquiring Kane shouldn't be prohibitive. After all, the Canucks landed him for just a 4th-round pick this past offseason. While Vancouver would like to maximize their return for Kane, they must also be realistic. Likely, the Canucks would like to get something back to help their rebuild. Nevertheless, that should not discourage the Avalanche from kicking the tires on him. That sounds like a great idea for me, hey? Go out there and take the winningest teams in the National Hockey League, literal cup champions, teams that made the finals back-to-back years, 2 seasons ago and last year in Edmonton, and then a Colorado team that won the cup a few years prior, and just toss Evander Kane onto those teams. For sure, he would thrive in the winning environment because he doesn't really need to be a super effective player if he wants to get playoff success. He was on Edmonton the past 2 years. If he goes to Colorado, this is going to be a guy who is just so used to winning, he doesn't need to carry his weight. Because in Vancouver, unfortunately, the team is not good enough that he can just cruise right on by to getting multiple wins and multiple goals. Let's go out there and read what the article goes out there and says about Kane in the Avalanche lineup. He isn't really a top 6 forward anymore. While he may have one last hurrah left in him, his days as an effective scorer are likely done. That being said, Kane could deliver depth scoring while adding plenty of grit and pugnacity to the lineup. Therein lies the key to Kane's landing in Colorado. The Avs could use more punch. He's the sort of forward who thrives in the playoffs. He can grind with the best of them. More importantly, he can take some of the pressure off of Colorado's top players. Kane could be a fit on the Avalanche's 3rd line, however, he seems a likelier fit on the checking line. The article then says the Canucks could retain 50% of Kane's cap hit for the rest of the season, and you also might want to say that adding a veteran forward like Kane offers Bednar flexibility. While Bardakov and Brindley have been good, come playoff time, Bednar might want more of a veteran presence to round out the lineup. That's why he could be a valuable alternative for Colorado. Now here's the thing. Do the Avalanche have the assets that Vancouver would want to make an Evander Kane trade work? Well, in order for Patrick Allvin and Jim Rutherford to save face, to not totally look like idiots because they made the trade for this guy in the first place, they'd have to get at least more than a 4th-round pick. If you get a 3rd, then okay, fantastic. You turned a 4th into a 3rd, and you lost Pius Suter in the process. What an amazing turn of events. There is no world in which Evander Kane is going to get anything more than, let's just say, a 3rd if you're really twisting my arm here. But just the idea that a team like Colorado would even see value in Evander Kane for his physical tools, it's all reputation-based. This is a guy who unfortunately does not seem to have a physical edge in his body when playing for the Vancouver Canucks. Maybe he had that in Edmonton. Maybe he provided so much of that to the Oilers that Oilers executives were ticked off that they made the trade in the first place, even if it was for a 4th-round pick and they freed up the salary cap space. But now I think about it like, if Evander Kane does what Evander Kane does, and he goes to a winning team, and he provides exactly what that winning team needs out of him, if he goes to Colorado, the Avs win the cup, and Evander Kane has 6 goals in 20 games in the playoffs, and he's got 15 points, I wouldn't even be surprised. For him to be so good as a passenger in Edmonton, and then to be placed in Colorado where he could potentially do the same thing, it'd be yeah, no, of course he's doing that. All former Canucks do well. All guys can't succeed when they're playing for the Vancouver Canucks, and it just gives us an opportunity to be self-deprecating about our team over here. But, hey, what else would be new with this squad, right? I just hope the Vancouver Canucks can get something for him. Man, this is a weird, depressing commentary, isn't it? An Evander Kane trade to Colorado. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think this is possible? Do you think it could happen? Do you think the price would be worth it for Vancouver? And what do you think that price actually is? Is it a third-round pick? Is it anything more? Anything less? And do you think that anybody else, myself, Edmonton Oilers executives, were wrong about the trade in general? Let me know in the comments all your opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on. And bye.